Let's take you straight to our top story and breaking news this hour. The NPA now placing the Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions, Nongcobo Jiba, and Executive Lawrence Mrwebi on special leave. eNCA's specialist reporter Karyn Maughan has been watching this one. Thank you very much, Karyn, for being with us tonight. This was the right thing to do, was it not? Doesn't it short-circuit everything else in terms of the obligation on the NPA to act?
It also takes pressure off the leadership by making it seem that this was a decision that came from the two people involved in terms of being seen to act against them. And remember, these are two individuals who, throughout multiple court rulings against them, a constitutional court justice saying that the president should be asked to institute an inquiry into them. Jiba herself being the sort of target of the DA's application, which ultimately failed to have her suspended. There are piles and piles of court documents against these two, and it's only at the end now, after the striking off the roll, that they've done the right thing. And I think a lot of political analysts will read into that about certain individuals who've been previously untouchable, now feeling the pinch of the rule of law, like the rest of us do.
The president earlier today was talking to business leaders in Labour and so on, and talking about Brand SA and about desisting from doing reputational damage to Brand SA. Has this helped South Africa's brand? Here are two people who, whose careers and work was, there was a dim view taken of their careers and their work that was done by the North Gauteng High Court. They were struck from the roll. They've now, a day later, said, okay, we fall on our swords for now. They are planning on still pursuing this later. Is this not a credit to them and, in line with the message of the president to save face?
Well, it's a little too late, I think. I mean, we have scenarios where from, I think, 2012 was the first time the court judgment was made against Nongcobo Jiba. This is the same individual who pushed for the corruption prosecution, which ultimately failed, of Karyn Maughan. We then saw the Judge John Murphy ruling in the Mrwebi matter, which was scathing about her levels of honesty and her ethics. We then saw the SCA. We then saw Judge Gorvin over the case, and then the then head of the NPA, Mrwebi, going to the presidency, going to the justice minister and saying, please do something about this, please institute an inquiry, getting absolutely nowhere. And we now at the last possible moment where every other avenue has been exhausted, and they literally have no other choice, Iman. They can't continue to work. They have been found unfit to practice as advocates. They are appealing that ruling, but it is completely untenable for them to stay in that job.
If, as you say, Karyn, there's been an archival background to their failures and the kind of negative view that people have had on their professionalism and their ability to do justice, how do you read this line in the NDPP statement just before the end, which says the NDPP would like to thank the two officials for this part, for upholding the integrity of the institution as well as theirs? Are you surprised by that?
I find that absolutely mind-boggling. A day ago, we have a judge writing, how could you stoop so low to protect crime intelligence head Richard Mdluli, a self-proclaimed loyalist who, lest we forget, in 2011 was happily promising the president he would help him succeed at the ANC Mangaung conference, that you found a judge saying, how could you stoop so low? How could you violate what the NPA is about, prosecute without fear, favour, prejudice? How could you, in Jiba's case, make Glynis Baitenbach's memo justifying the prosecution saying, this is the wrong decision, disappear from the court record, just advise lawyers willy-nilly when they didn't give you the answers that you wanted, when they didn't go along with what you said, where you violate every principle of what it means to be an advocate in the country. And then Shaun Abrahams makes a statement, thanks for upholding the integrity of the institution. I think it's incredibly unfortunate, and I think it was an incredibly ill-advised thing to say.
How revealing is that particular line in what were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 paragraphs or so, letting the public know what happened? How particularly revealing what is this statement and that line particularly of the state of relations and the status quo inside the NPA and the NDPP?
The unfortunate thing is that Shaun Abrahams, he was the person who made the decision to ultimately, sign off on the withdrawal of forgery charges against Nongcobo Jiba over her handling of the Johan Boyson matter, in which she'd signed off on a racketeering, affidavit, a racketeering prosecution, and said that she'd seen all the evidence when in fact she had not, and that was the Judge Gorvin. I mean, he made the decision to withdraw the prosecution of her. He is very much seen, rightly or wrongly, as being very closely aligned to her. And, in this situation, it's just an incredibly ill-advised thing to say. I mean, you're basically questioning not just one court judgment, Iman, but multiple court judgments. And it's just really, really unfortunate. If you are, as he has repeatedly told me, totally dedicated to, no fear, no favor, no prejudice prosecution in this country, and about not being seen to be politically swayed by whichever direction the wind is blowing in, to make a statement like that in line with what is happening is really, really, really unfortunate.
Fridays don't seem to be the same in South Africa anymore.
No.
Fridays, something's happening. Karyn Maughan, thank you very much for helping us understand and unpack that story. Appreciate it so much.